Lost Worlds Rediscovered, the mysteries of ancient civilizations. Hey everyone, if you love ancient mysteries, lost civilizations, and legends that blur the line between myth and archaeology, this episode is for you. Today we're traveling deep into the heart of Mexico to the Zapotec City of the Dead to unravel one of the strangest enigmas in Mesoamerican history, the Column of Death. You'll discover why people once believed that touching this ancient stone could mean instant death, and what shocking truth might still lie hidden beneath the ruins of Mitla. Prepare for buried treasures, sacred symbols, and unexpected twists that shed new light on a vanished civilization. Subscribe so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. And let's begin. The Column of Death, Mitla. Our journey begins in Mitla, Mexico, a hauntingly beautiful site known to the locals as the City of the Dead. It was built by the mysterious Zapotec civilization, and right here, among the crumbling temples and stone mosaics, stands one of the most sinister artifacts in all of Mesoamerica, the Column of Death. According to legend, the Zapotecs, who buried their dead in vast underground labyrinths, believed that this column could foretell death itself. The ritual was terrifyingly simple. Wrap your arms around the stone, and if you felt it move or pulse beneath your touch, your time was near. But here's a crucial fact. Mitla was far more than a burial site. It was the main religious and ceremonial center of the Zapotecs, inhabited by priests and nobles who communicated with the spirits of the dead. So, what if those so-called tombs beneath the city weren't graves at all, but ritual chambers, where the column played a sacred, perhaps even forbidden, role? Another version of the myth warns that even a single touch could alter your destiny, or curse you forever. Today, the column is closed to the public due to structural damage, but the question remains, was it sealed to protect visitors from the legend or to preserve the legend itself? Archaeologists still argue about the true purpose of Mitla's underground halls. Yes, burials were found here, but the intricate stone mosaics, made of thousands of perfectly fitted geometric blocks, suggest something far more advanced than a simple crypt. To understand the column's mystery, we must first understand its makers, the Zapotecs. Who were they? And why did their great civilization vanish long before the arrival of Columbus? The Zapotecs, or the Cloud People, Ben-Azar, were among the earliest and most influential cultures in Mesoamerica, flourishing more than 2,500 years ago. Their capital, Monte Alban, rose high above the valleys of Oaxaca and became a monumental center of religion and power. They developed an early system of writing, a precise calendar, and sophisticated irrigation networks. Their religion was polytheistic, centered on deities of rain, fertility, and lightning, especially Cotijo, the storm god. Zapotec rulers claimed divine descent, serving as mediators between the world of the living and the spirits of the dead. That's why Mitla, their later ceremonial hub, began to be known as the place of rest, or more chillingly, the City of the Dead. The Empire's fall. Around 900 AD, long before Spanish contact, the Zapotec world began to collapse. The reasons remain unclear. Drought, internal conflict, or perhaps the broader wave of decline that also struck the Maya. Warfare with the Aztecs and Mixtecs had weakened the Zapotecs by the time Hernán Cortés arrived in the 16th century. The Spanish conquest, which was finished by 1527, caused destruction not only through war, but also through disease, which wiped out whole communities. Yet even in ruin, the Zapotec legacy endured, and it still does today. Hundreds of thousands of their descendants continue to live in the valley of Oaxaca, keeping alive the memory of a people who once built cities among the clouds. Mysterious bones at Stonehenge. we leave behind the City of the Dead in Mexico and cross the ocean to England, to perhaps the most iconic prehistoric monument on Earth. But here's the question: was Stonehenge a temple to the sun, or a monument to the dead? The human remains discovered around the world-famous Stonehenge site in Wiltshire have long fascinated both archaeologists and the public. While the monument's true purpose remains one of history's great debates, one fact is certain. Stonehenge was once a vast Neolithic cemetery. Carbon dating shows that from around 3000 BCE, the site served as a burial ground for society's elite for more than 5 centuries. Within the Aubrey holes and the surrounding ditch, excavations have uncovered skeletons and cremated remains, confirming that the earliest phase of Stonehenge's use was dedicated to the dead. In fact, this makes it the largest late Neolithic cemetery in all of Britain. Then came the discovery that changed everything. Isotope analysis of the bones revealed a startling truth. Many of the people buried here were not locals. Some had travelled from as far away as West Wales, the same region where the smaller bluestones of Stonehenge were quarried. So the question is, did these travellers make the 180-mile journey to transport sacred stones, only to be buried beside them? Early theories of human sacrifice have mostly been dismissed. The evidence now points to something more complex and more human. Archaeologists believe Stonehenge may have served as a prestigious dynastic burial ground, used by generations of a powerful ruling lineage. Roughly 240 individuals are thought to have been interred here. Not victims, but revered ancestors. Today, many of their bones rest in the Stonehenge Visitor Centre, displayed for millions of visitors each year. These fragile remains offer an extraordinary glimpse into the people who lived and died beneath the shadow of the stones. But their presence in glass cases has sparked a modern spiritual conflict. A group of self-proclaimed modern druids, who claim ancestral ties to the site's builders, have demanded the bones be reburied, insisting that keeping them on display is an act of disrespect. Yet experts and historians strongly reject this claim, pointing out that the Celtic Druids appeared thousands of years after Stonehenge was completed. The monument's creators lived in a world entirely alien to the Druids' Iron Age beliefs. And so the controversy continues, not between rival tribes, but between science and faith, curiosity and reverence. It forces us to ask an uncomfortable question. In the pursuit of knowledge, how long is it ethical to keep the ancient dead on display? And who truly owns the past, the scientist or the believer? Nineveh Reborn, the Assyrian Reliefs. Our journey now takes a sharp, modern turn. From the silent tombs of the ancient world, we move to a battlefield where archaeology itself becomes a weapon, a fight against oblivion. We are in Mosul, Iraq. Beneath this crowded modern city lies Nineveh, once the glittering capital of the Neo-Assyrian Empire and one of the greatest cities of the ancient world. But recently, it has endured unimaginable destruction at the hands of the terrorist group Daesh, ISIS. However, amidst the ruins, a remarkable phenomenon is unfolding. Fresh discoveries emerge from the ashes of devastation. In October 2022, archaeologists working at the ruined Mashki Gate, one of Nineveh's largest entrances, uncovered a breathtaking find: 8 magnificent 2,700-year-old stone reliefs, miraculously preserved beneath layers of rubble. These carvings burst with life and motion, scenes of war, sieges and triumphs, all etched into massive slabs of alabaster. But these were not mere works of art. They were messages of power, carved to glorify the empire and terrify its enemies. Every line, every warrior, every chariot was propaganda, a visual declaration of dominance. Inscriptions confirm that the reliefs date to the reign of King Sennacherib, 705 to 681 BCE. one of the most formidable rulers of ancient Mesopotamia. A man both feared and admired, Sennacherib was infamous for crushing rebellions and for his brutal siege of Jerusalem, an event still remembered in religious texts. These newly discovered reliefs likely decorated his royal palace walls, serving as both history and intimidation, a gallery of conquest. Ironically, the rediscovery came through destruction itself. When Daesh tried to demolish the Mashki Gate in 2016, their bulldozers tore away the outer walls and, in doing so, exposed the buried reliefs. This brutal act of vandalism unintentionally revealed a priceless chapter of human history. As archaeologists often say, sometimes what survives destruction reveals more than centuries of preservation. So the question remains, if war and time could not silence Nineveh, what other voices of the ancient world still whisper beneath its dust, waiting to be found? Gold, chariots, and the honey secret. Could honey be older than embalming? In 2014, deep in the valleys of Georgia, archaeologists unearthed a burial that turned everything we thought we knew about ancient funerary rituals upside down. Inside a massive early Bronze Age mound, they found more than just gold and ornaments. They found perfectly preserved wild fruits, left as offerings for the dead. But there was something even stranger. The fruits were covered in honey. Chemical analysis confirmed what seemed impossible. Traces of honey were found not only on the offerings, but also on the human remains themselves. It led to an astonishing theory. The ancients may have used honey as an embalming agent centuries, perhaps millennia, before the Egyptians perfected their methods. This idea is not without precedent. Ancient Assyrians reportedly preserved corpses in honey, and legend tells that when Alexander the Great captured the Persian city of Susa, he discovered paintings that had survived 2 centuries intact, protected under a layer of honey. But why is honey such an extraordinary preservative? Science reveals us the answer. Its low water content and high sugar concentration create an environment where bacteria simply cannot survive. Honey dehydrates microbes and seals organic matter in an almost timeless state, nature's own amber. Beyond this biochemical marvel, the tomb revealed a breathtaking array of treasures. 2 4-wheeled chariots, symbols of immense power and prestige, gold artifacts, amber beads, arrowheads, textiles, and even a beautifully crafted wooden armchair, all lying undisturbed for thousands of years. But not everything was peaceful in this resting place. Excavations revealed signs of an ancient robbery. Narrow tunnels cut directly into the burial chamber, disturbed soil, and displaced objects. Who were these grave robbers? Were they outsiders? Or insiders who once attended the funeral and knew exactly where the treasures lay? That question, like the honey that guarded this tomb for millennia, remains sealed, a mystery preserved in gold and sweetness. The world's oldest winery. Our next stop takes us to Armenia, to a dark cave that hides a discovery dear to every wine lover's heart, the oldest known wine cellar in the world, active 6,100 years ago. This cave complex, known as Arini 1, revealed something extraordinary, a full-scale grape-pressing installation dating back to the Chalcolithic era. Chemical analysis found traces of malvidin, the pigment that gives red wine its deep colour, on both the ancient press and shards of pottery. This wasn't simple storage, this was production, organised, intentional and ceremonial. The site also yielded one of the most famous finds in the region, a 5,500-year-old leather shoe, astonishingly well preserved. Some believe the winery was part of a funerary ritual where participants removed their shoes in reverence for the dead. Others offer a simpler idea, that the winemakers simply took off their footwear before stomping grapes. Either way, this cave tells us something profound. Wine culture runs deep in human history. We may cherish an aged vintage, but at 6,100 years old, this one might finally be too old to taste. The Fort Mojave Twins, the geoglyph mystery. From Armenia's vineyards, we travel to the Mojave Desert in Arizona, a stark, sun-scorched land where two colossal figures lie etched into the earth. The Fort Mojave Twins, among North America's most enigmatic geoglyphs. These huge designs, which date back to 900 BCE, cover the desert floor and can only be seen from high above. Their chilling symbolism has puzzled experts and mystics alike. Many believe the figures represent the eternal struggle between righteousness and evil. The larger twin stands for goodness, perhaps an ancient god, while the smaller embodies malevolence or chaos. They echo the spiritual cosmology of early desert peoples, possibly the ancestors of the modern Mojave nation. But here lies the unsolvable riddle. How did ancient people devoid of flight or aerial tools craft such perfectly symmetrical designs that only the sky can fully comprehend? Were these messages to the heavens, or marks meant for the gods themselves? Today, the Fort Mojave Twins are fenced off, protected from erosion and vandalism. Their presence endures as haunting proof of ancient genius and a mystery that may never be fully solved. Zita, the incorruptible saint of Lucca. We now cross back to Lucca, Italy, where faith and science meet in one of Catholicism's most unsettling relics, the miraculously preserved body of St. Zita. The Maid's Miracle. Born a humble peasant, Zita became a servant at the age of 12, renowned for her kindness and piety. Legend says she once transformed flowers into bread for the poor. When she died in 1272, the bells of Lucca reportedly rang by themselves. The secret of the body. When her body was exhumed in 1580, it was found remarkably intact, declared incorruptible. Her remains were placed on public display in the Basilica of San Frediano, where she still rests today, her hands and face visible to pilgrims. Zita is now one of the Church's 10 incorruptibles, saints believed to defy decay. Science versus faith. Modern analysis paints a different picture. Zita's preservation was likely a case of natural mummification, her tomb's dry, sealed environment halting decomposition. Her body is now darkened, fragile and shrunken, yet still revered. Every April 27th, the people of Lucca celebrate her feast day, bringing flowers and loaves of bread to honor her life. Her body, caught between miracle and science, remains a haunting testament to humanity's yearning for the eternal. Gerasa, Roman history recreated. Where can you find one of the most complete Roman cities outside Italy? In Jerash, Jordan, once known as Gerasa, lies a city frozen in time. The lost Decapolis. Gerasa was a jewel of the Decapolis, a federation of 10 great Roman cities in the eastern provinces. It hosted giants of history, Alexander the Great, Emperor Trajan, and Hadrian, and flourished as a hub of trade and culture. Then, in 749 CE, a devastating earthquake struck, burying the city in silence for over 1,000 years. Rediscovered in 1806, Gerasa revealed streets still lined with colonnades, temples, and theatres. But what makes it truly extraordinary is how alive it feels today. The immersive experience, a reenactment featuring 45 armoured legionaries and full-speed chariot races over 7 laps, a vivid resurrection of Rome's martial grandeur. Here, history doesn't just survive, it breathes. Quirigua, the Mayan doomsday prophecy. Our next journey takes us to the jungles of Guatemala, to the Mayan city of Quirigua, famed for its towering stone monuments, and for inspiring the myth of the 2012 apocalypse. The stone calendar's Quirigua was a busy trade center in the Maya world in the 8th century. Its Great Plaza is lined with 17 colossal sandstone stelae, some over 9 meters tall, stone calendars carved with hieroglyphic records of rulers, celestial events, and mythic cycles. The doomsday date 1 stela, inscribed around 775 CE, marks the end of the Third World and the beginning of the Fourth. A cycle in the Mayan long count calendar that later inspired modern doomsday theories about the year 2012. But the world didn't end, and neither did Quirigua's legacy. Its stelae still stand unbroken, not as prophecies of destruction, but as monuments to mathematical brilliance and cosmic imagination, the timeless achievements of the Maya. The beehive houses of Harran. Can architecture from 3,000 years ago still teach us how to live sustainably today? In Harran, Turkey, it can. Ingenious climate control. The village of Harran, continuously inhabited for nearly 5,000 years, is home to the iconic beehive houses, domed mud brick structures designed to master the desert climate. Each dome's small opening acts as a natural air vent. Hot air rises and escapes, keeping the interior cool even in blistering heat. A legacy of survival. These homes have endured earthquakes, sandstorms, and floods for millennia. They're also infinitely expandable. Add a new dome beside the old one and knock through an archway. Simple, elegant, and efficient. A design so ancient, yet so modern. Harran's beehive houses remain a living symbol of human adaptation and endurance. Conclusion. Our journey has proven one thing: history is alive. Every burial mound, every carved stone, every dome of mud or trace of honey is a message from the past, a whisper from those who lived, built, believed, and dreamed long before us. History isn't a static record. It's a living dialogue between the past and the present, a story still being written beneath our feet. And the greatest mysteries? They're still out there, waiting to be found. So stay curious, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us next time for another journey into the secrets of our shared human story. Thanks for watching.